Welcome all. Thank you for being here. As you are aware, AOE is an association of entrepreneurs, young, uh, middle, and very experienced amongst us. And it's a knowledge platform where we would like to invite guest speakers to give us knowledge. We invite one of our our internal speaker, to give his life journey, his success, his failure stories. So the whole idea is to gain as much as knowledge, use it for the benefit of your entrepreneurial journey on day-to-day basis. There is a mentorship group which helps AoEans members who are interested in taking mentoring to take it to the next level of the business and come across the hurdles which they face. By and large, we've been able to survive for many years now, and it's amazing. It's amazing that we have stuck together, and that exactly the idea. I remember a very long time back when we joined together at BNI, there was an equation V plus C is equal to P. So visibility brings credibility, and visibility and credibility brings profitability. And I think that's exactly what we are doing here. More visibility to each other, meeting every month, either online or offline at earlier times, generates a lot of trust in each other. And I think being an entrepreneur, the most important thing is trust between your buyers, your employees, your vendors. And if our trust is maintained and you're carrying on doing the business on a life cycle basis with the services or product, there is definitely going to be an advantage situation for everybody in the chain. And I think this platform has proved that month and month, year and year, by having valued AoEans. And I wish that it is 2021, 22, we would carry on doing with the same vigor and endeavor. Let me start. We have a wonderful session. Rakhee is here to give us a knowledge. We have our internal speaker, Vikas, to share his success and failure stories for today. Let me start with requesting our members to introduce themselves. May I request Veer Sagar to please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Veer Sagar. Today, I'm not going to tell you about what all I have done. I'm just tell you about two things which we are celebrating, or we hope we plan to celebrate, but we can't thanks to COVID. Is one, that on this day, 25 years ago, well, one day before actually, I got sacked from DCM for trying to bring back office to DCM. My chairman thought I had lost it, and he said, "You're going to create techno coolies in the country." So we parted company. And next day, I set up Selectronic. So on this day, 25 years ago, Selectronic was set up. So I was pushed into becoming an entrepreneur. It's been a roller coaster ride, a lot of ups and lots of downs, but we had a lot of help and we had a great team. And luckily, a lot of my founder members, people who started with me, are still with me. So it's quite nice. We have repositioned ourselves a couple of times so that we are always one step ahead of technology. And today we have also added a thing called Criconet, which brings me to my second celebration. Yesterday, we had the 100,000th registration on a Criconet site. So those are the two things I wanted to celebrate with everybody else. Rest, you know what I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Veer. May I request past chairman Naveen Sardana, please introduce himself.
Good evening, friends. Happy New Year to all of you. This is Naveen Sardana, past chairman of AOE. we are in the business of modular kitchens and modular wardrobes. We have a company called Living Luxuries, and where I'm a partner. Earlier, we were importing furniture from Germany, but now, because the quality of furniture has improved drastically, we are doing only local stuff, and we are catering to all high-end clients. And along with that, we also offer the world's best built-in kitchen appliances, whether it's Bertolini, or whether it is Siemens, or whether it is Almec, larger Mania, you name it, we have it. So that's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. So may I request Abhinit to go next?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Abhinit Seth. I represent two entities, Abode Crowds and Oasis Farms. Abode Crowds, at Abode Crowds, we are a one-stop construction and interior boutique company. One-stop designed to build. We design and we execute. At Oasis Farms, we are trying to come up with a range of indigenous organic products, and we'll elaborate it for you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinit. May I request Varun to go ahead?
Good evening, everybody. I'm one of the founder members of AOE. We are into three businesses. One is our family business, BRD Constructions. We are primarily builders in South Delhi. Currently 5 projects, and one in Vasant Vihar, GK and South Extension we are doing. So that is one of our profile. I've been into real estate consultancy, running my consultancy company known as Fortune Group Consultants. So that's primarily on buying, selling, leasing of schools, hospital, hotels, land consolidation, retail market, farms, and all. So a lot of stuff we do on that. And last 2 years, we have been very effective doing Canadian immigration. One of our partners is one of the biggest law firms over there by the name of Green & Spiegel, Stephen Green. So yes, anybody looking forward for any kind of things in real estate and immigration, one-stop solution is there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's a new vertical again. You know, every year you're introducing new verticals. That's good to know. So may I request Arjun Pandey to go next, please?
Thank you. Wishing everyone a happy new year. And I'm Arjun Pandey. My background is in media content creation. I have a production house called 24 Frames. I have investments in digital media, including Delhi Media. There's a couple of others which are on news, which are going to be rolling out soon. And I'm also part of a television news channel called India Ahead. We're trying to bring news back into India and for Indians. We are very centrist in our approach. We do not have a lot of shouting. We actually are trying to bring full value news to you from across the country. So you'll actually get state-specific news. We are very heavily southern focused. We have a newspaper out there called Andhra Prabha. That's the parent of the group. I have a lot of interest in campaigns that bring about change, from positive things on environment and wildlife and development. Haven't done too much in the recent past, but keen to, again, get back into that. I'm running currently 3 separate campaigns on different elections in different states. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful to have you here again. May I request Sanjoy to go ahead, please?
Yeah, hi. I'm Sanjoy Sehgal from Action Software. We make software for the worldwide fashion industry, and I have customers pretty much everywhere in the world. And when you think of fashion, just think of us. I mean, any kind of systems you need, we have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjoy. Because of so many changes in the business, people are coming, not coming, and I'm not being able to use the wonderful software, the system you have given. And I think my promise to my people was that starting from January, we should be using it. So I'll give you a feedback after that, right? Thank you.
Sure. I mean, just to
yes.
keep you up to date, we're doing really well with that. We recently had a customer sign up for 500 users just for that. So that's huge. So connect the worldwide network with us.
Congratulations. Wonderful. Great. May I request Neeraj Bhargavji to go ahead, please?
Namaskar, everyone. I run a business by the name of HBD Packaging Private Limited. We are into offset printing based packaging. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Naresh Ved here. I'm founder of Kaveri Consultants. It's been a journey of 14 years. we help startup designers in US and Europe to make in India as they grow, and we grow as well. At this moment, I have stopped my business development program. I'm looking at unwinding from manufacturing business. Sanjoy has helped me in finding a suitable partner to take over the business in the coming year. And I hope that I can devote more time to my tennis, my teaching online, and being with the AoEan. So I'm preparing to be, going full ahead, being a chairman from October onwards. So I'm taking, retirement from all other active businesses. Our focus in our industry is primarily women. We have a tagline: for women, by women, with love. That's exactly what we try to do it. And I'm worried about that, how to take care of those 50 to 60 women once this business will come to close. I'm sure I'm going to find somebody. Thank you very much. And let me proceed to the next agenda. May I request Vineet to give us some news on one-to-one?
Thank you, sir. As entrepreneurs, we all realize how critical one-to-one interactions are for the purpose of building trust. And at AOE, we firmly believe that trust should be built, relationships be nurtured, and business will automatically follow. As a ritual, we have been focusing more and more to enable one-to-ones amongst our fellow members. And other than introducing ourselves, we should now be at a position of introducing a fellow member at times. Thank you, everyone. Naresh sir, can we switch on to the next level?
Okay, thank you, Vineet. And let me move on to the next agenda. We have our esteemed guest, Rakhee Sharma, over here. Welcome to you. Welcome from all of us. Thank you for sparing your time and being with us. We are looking forward to a wonderful session with you. Your list is, it's so long. I think I'll be, by the time I finish it, the session would be over. So it will be very, very nice if you can just give your introduction yourself, and then start with the presentation yourself. And I think we have about time till 5 o'clock for you, including Q&A, right? I hope in case you need some extension on that, please do let us know, and we'll take care of it. Over to you, Rakhee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Naresh Vij, for inviting me to speak up. And I'm very grateful to Association of Entrepreneurs to invite me here to give a presentation. And I would say Veer Sagar is the culprit, main person who got in touch with me, and we got talking. And then what I was sharing about bringing pro-social cultures in the organizations and in the world, that really interested him. And so that's how the trigger happened, that he said that, why don't you share this with our group of members? It would be interesting for them. So thank you so much, Veer, for inviting me. And thank you so much, everyone who's given your introduction. And it feels I'm in an august company. I sense that all of you do amazing work as what you shared, and seems like it's a very close-knit group, which is another very nice thing to come and share. And my presentation will definitely make sense to you, because you are working on building the culture of your group as a close-knit family. That's what I could sense ever since I was there on the Zoom call. So a little bit about myself. So I and yet I will speak just a few lines about myself. I've heard somebody saying, Abhijit's talking about LinkedIn, so I'll request that all who want to have a look at my profile and the work that I do in detail, they can go and have a look at my profile. And my name is Rakhee Sharma, so with that name, you can search me. So I see myself as a catalyst to human well-being and flourishing, because this is what I feel. Whatever I do, it comes from this purpose. And for that, as a professional, I work as a mindful leadership coach, facilitator, a contemplative instructor, and a person who wants to give a lot. So I involve myself in a lot of volunteering work. Today, I'm going to present an amazing learning journey, which has been brought by stalwarts in the world. And I'm going to share their perspective. And it's something coming from, as I said, stalwarts. So I'm going to share the presentation so that you will be able to understand that when I say stalwarts, you will understand, and it's a rich work that has come together for bringing patients and in our groups. So I'm going to start the presentation. Building pro-social culture for thriving organizations. As all of you are running organizations and they are doing well, at the same time, sometimes you would be sensing that maybe there might be some more smooth operation of the organization. And you would work on fixing certain issues, but you will see still something coming up again and again. And that is why understanding that how we can create a pro-social culture. And to get into understanding about pro-social cultures, let me first explain and share what pro-social culture is all about. Because this might be, this word pro-social might be new to all of you. Might be, I'm not too sure, but yes, to a lot of people, it's a new word. And what does it mean? So pro-social, basically, we talk about, when we talk about culture, here I would say pro-social world. And pro-social world, what it is, to consciously evolve a world that works for all. Many times in our world, and when we are discussing and talking, we do talk about that this is not fair and that is not fair. How can someone or an organization or government can do something like this? And here, this is a perspective that a pro-social world offers to consciously evolve a world that works for all. So in easy terms, I can say pro-social is about living life more fully focused on doing what really matters, not just for ourselves, but for those we know and love and the natural world that sustains us. We're all driven by things that are important for us, but we forget that is it including everyone? Is it including not just loved ones, but people who are unknown to us, even to the natural world? So this is an approach for a pro-social world and pro-social culture. And when I say world, you can equate it in your minds, an organization or a group, your group, or maybe some groups that you're associated to, and also for your own group, association of entrepreneurs. For a definition, I would say pro-social is about ways to balance and integrate interests at multiple. So it's basically a perspective and exploration to find a win-win way so that everybody's interest, their needs, their values, hopes, and dreams, all of them can be taken into consideration. And it's not about, let's say, there are multiple levels of groups. Like it could be existing from, and if we talk about an organization, let's say a hospital. These days, hospitals and medical world is a lot in conversations. So I'll give that example. So on a multiple level, it could be the hospital owners, and then the other level could be the staff which is there, which is supporting the functioning of the hospital. Then it could be doctors, patients, and the whole ecosystem. So there are multiple levels. So how can we have a way of working, way of coming together where each one's interests can be taken into consideration while creating trust and collaboration? This is very important. When we come together, if trust is not there, if collaboration is not there, it is very difficult to function smoothly. So here prosocial is showing a way, a perspective, so that we are able to move in a direction which is a win-win, and it brings everyone's need, values, hopes, and dreams together. I'm going to share a video with all of you.
Natural selection operating at the smallest scale actually produces social pathologies. The suffering that we inflict on each other is actually a product of evolution operating at this small scale. So that's, you might say, that's the bad news. The good news is that if we go up a little bit and we look at natural selection of groups doing better than other groups, then we find evolution favoring cooperation, altruism in all of its forms, at least within members of those groups, And so what we have now is we have a theory that can explain the evolution of goodness, and we can explain its limitations, how goodness evolves, but also the other evolutionary forces that are pushing back. So we have a theory that can explain both the existence of goodness and the limitations to its spread. And life consists not only of two tiers, individuals within groups, but it consists of groups within groups within groups, multiple tiers, and that logic is the same at every rung of this hierarchy. So in familiar terms, what's good for me can be bad for my family. What's good for my family can be bad for my clan. What's good for my clan can be bad for my nation. What's good for my nation can be bad for the world.
As a social animal, individuals' survival depend on rest of the community.
Many times when we are talking about a pro-social world, where we're talking about goodness, we're wanting things to come together for everybody's goodness, for well-being. Many times you would notice at least one or two, or maybe a small group of people come into the group and they start spoiling the whole ecosystem. So prosocial facilitation also helps you to deal with this cohesive, and we're working together. I'm going to share the presentation further. So here, as I mentioned, that how to build great groups, a team that is working for the good for everyone, as well as considering each member of the group. And prosocial shows the way. This is a quote by Mahatma Gandhi, and what he means here in this quote is that whatever is in us, we are seeing that in the world. And if we really want to change, we must not wait for others to change. We must start ourselves. And when we change ourselves, then we definitely see things changing around the world. So to consciously evolve a world that works for all, that is where prosocial has the base. Social has four things. It's a perspective, a practical process. There is a research very confidently, and it talks about community. Prosocial has a community, and it also helps people, groups, to get into a sense of community, which is very much visible in your group. So prosocial as a perspective. Now, what is this perspective? To share, I would share this little diagram. So it's based on evolutionary theory, and it has contextual behavioral science. It has Lynn Ostrom's theory, and she's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, first economist in the world. Her work is there. And then the idea is that a world that works for all. And again, I'll remind, when I say world, you can very easily think of an organization or a group. It could be for profit, it could be non-profit, but it's any group is made up of human beings. So wherever they are, those behavioral traits will come up. So when I say world, please take it as a group or an organization or a society. It's like anything in these which is equivalent to a world. So I'm going to share a little bit about Lynn Ostrom. So as I said, she won the Nobel Peace Prize for Economics, and she was the first woman to win this prize. And she actually studied groups, and she traveled all over the world, and she started noticing that what are the behaviors that break a group, and what are the behaviors that actually help a group to come together. And based on that, she created principles. And she saw that when people come together and there are common resources which are available, usually some people start exploiting that, and that is known as tragedy of the commons. Like if you see in our country, public property is misused very badly, but it's for everyone. But the point is that very few people are conscious about it. Even in organizations, if in your own organizations, you will notice that some people are misusing the resources which are there. So it's practically some of them exploit it and the others cannot benefit out of it. So she was studying about this, and that's how she brought up her principles, and there are 8 principles that she came up with that makes a group a pro-social group. And along with her, you've already seen the video where David Wilson was there. He's an evolutionary biologist. Along with him, it's Stephen C. Hayes. He's a clinical psychologist. And these are all stalwarts in their fields. They all came together, and that is how prosocial facilitation, prosocial world was created. So I'm going to share some of the prosocial core design principles that actually create a group which has a lot of trust, which has cooperation, which believes in equity. So I'm just going to read out. It's shared identity and purpose, equitable distribution of contributions and benefits, fair and inclusive decision making, monitoring agreed behaviors, that means transparency, graduated responding to helpful and unhelpful behaviors, fast and fair conflict resolutions. And based on these 6 principles, then comes the 7th principle, which gives us authority to self-govern. And then when we are in a group, there are multiple groups. Like for instance, you're supported by many other organizations, groups, individuals. So how can you have collaborated relationships with other groups? So based on these 7 principles, the 8th principle comes forth. So when I say about these principles, how they can be used, I'm going to share. So some of the ways that teams do not work well or organizations don't work well, it is this. Some of the reasons I'm going to read out, it might resonate with some of you. Unable to identify critical values or articulate them, generalized mistrust, inequity, either not understanding or caring about others' needs, lack of inclusion, turf protection, coercive or disrespectful behavior, inadequate transparency, withholding information, meetings before meetings, etc., coercive control, lack of compassion or positive regard for others, inability to listen, fear of conflict, inability to self-regulate. fear of committing to action or taking responsibility for action, rigid, us and them labeling. I'm sure it might resonate with you. Something here might be happening in small measure or maybe medium measure in some department of your organization. And for that, so each issue, there's a principle that can tackle. I'm going to share a very simple model, A, B, C. A is basically a context. Whenever we are making a decision, there is a context. So we have to see what is the context. Based on that context, we will see behaviors, which could be private, which could be public. So whenever we are behaving, there's a consequence. So we have to see what it is, not just the person who is heading the organization, but the whole organization needs to be very clear that what is the behavior am I showcasing in a private space or in public space, which is aligned to the direction that we need to move. And now I'm going to share that it's a researched document which Jim Lennon, a psychologist, did a research based on prosocial, and that is how he shared that. And I've given that example in the beginning also. For an example, he said that when we are attending to a patient, a child, I'm just giving an example. You can equate it in your mind that whenever we get together, there are multiple layers. So how can we deal with the multiple layers of groups? How can we come together for a common cause? And for that, we have to understand that it's not just in organizations, it is also in our world. And that is how our environment is degrading. There are multiple groups, there are multiple interests they have, and everybody is like wanting their way. And if you can see in the world around, that is why there is so much of environmental crisis in the world, because various groups, various interests, and we are not able to come together. And for that, it's very important to understand the evolution. What is the evolutionary psychology? Who are we? And how can we consciously evolve? Because in the video, it was mentioned that there are wolves also. And as groups, we all want to protect ourselves, our loved ones. So there is a close group, people who are associated to us. So it becomes an in-group. And then there's an out-group, people who are not related to us or we think they might harm. So they're out-group. And many times wanting to protect the in-group, we are consciously harming others. But we don't realize that we are one big whole family. And that is part of the evolution. At the same time, there's another fact of our evolutionary psychology is that we human beings have learned to collaborate. We know how to get together, and that is why we are on top of the food chain. If we were not collaborating, we wouldn't have been at the top of the chain. But unfortunately, how the world is progressing, we have got into consumption, we have got into unnecessary usage of things. We want things just because we can afford. And we don't see that if we are consuming unnecessarily, we don't know how many resources are being put into creation of what we are using. For an example, jeans that we wear, it consumes thousands of liters of water to create one pair of jeans, or maybe one t-shirt. What I remember, a t-shirt, a cotton t-shirt, when it is created, it involves 1500 liters of water. Now, can you imagine when you just throw away a t-shirt and you say, I got tired of wearing it, or I just worn a couple of seasons, I don't want to wear, then you can think of what all resources went into it. And if we are misusing, actually, again, it's going to empty, or what should I say, the world will become poorer because we are misusing things. So as human beings, we are collaborators. So we must think of how can we collaborate together to make our organization, make our society, make our world a better place. I'm short of time, so I'll just give you an example of what happened in Sierra Leone. Quite a few years back, Ebola had struck. Like at the moment we have Ebola was in Sierra Leone, and a lot of people were dying. And the problem was that the virus was released when the person was dying, and they had a ritual that when the family members, when they would take their dead people, they would kiss the dead body and they would put perfume and they would, wrap it well. And in that way, actually, a lot of Ebola was spreading. And so what happened, they adopted prosocial. They were educated about how would you go ahead with this, how to deal with the situation. They were educated, and then the group collectively came up with this solution that instead of their dead, they will choose a banana trunk which will represent their dead body, and they will do the rituals. They will continue all the rituals, taking that banana trunk as the dead and continuing with the rituals. And that is how the spread of Ebola was stopped. So that is how, it's just one of the examples. There are many examples that are now there in the research. If you check the research, you will see there are a lot of examples where prosocial was introduced in the group, and there were solutions that came up where the whole community came together to find a solution for a common goal. So as I said, prosocial is a community, and it's a research-based community. And how it works, you might be wondering that I'm talking so much about it, and how is it possible? So basically, we get into a personal matrix. We look into individual interests, and then we look into the collective interest, and it is both are being done on accountability action matrix. And then based on that, then we get into seeing where the whole group is based on those 8 principles. And based on that, the group comes up with, okay, this is the principle that needs to work in the group. And based on that, then there is, the group comes together. There are norms that are, new norms that are set up based on the principle that needs to be worked on. Then there's a goal setting, and then we proceed. We come together as a group. I facilitate and I coach so that everybody as a group can move together. So I would say prosocial is actually a practical process. It is not something that, it sounds very nice, but it's a practical process. So any group wants to create a prosocial culture where it is not only thinking about few people, but it is about a collective goal, moving in the same direction, bringing everybody together, considering individuals, considering the group, and then finding a way to move towards achieving a single goal. So this is my presentation.
Thank you very much, Rakhee. I think we need more time, maybe double of the time, to really understand the impact of what you were trying to tell us. But
thank you, Rakhee ji. It was a new concept which we learned today, because I think I have not come across anything about building pro-social culture for thriving organizations. It was very well explained in whatever time we gave you. In the last half an hour, you explained it very well. And I think, like Nareshji was saying, that we don't require only half an hour, we require much more time to understand the concept. But yes, it was very well explained. And so everybody has I'm sure has understood the concept which you gave, and we can work on it further. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Let me move on to the next agenda. Rajiv, can we have a mentoring update if you have any?
Yeah. So first thing is we have the first of our mentees presenting today. So that's a great occasion and event, in my opinion. We had a few others as well. We had a session, a couple of sessions actually with Sanjoy as well, and was delighted to hear a couple of weeks ago that he is doing extremely well. His business has exploded and all of that. So brilliant to hear about the progress and success that he's achieving for only part mentoring that he went through. But I'm sure a lot of things got triggered with that. There's also some very good news, although we had one session with Ajay Amar's daughter, but she's on to a very sacred path now. I'm told that she's going to very shortly get married. So we will, once she settles down, we will have, another set of sessions and all of that. So all very good news so far with the three mentees. We had one session with Brigav. So that was the exploration session. And I know that we have another potential mentee in the waiting, which we'll take up towards the end of this month. I was wanting to travel around this period, so we've sort of pushed it to the end of the month. But I think, in my opinion, it has been very valuable, both from the mentor's perspective and I suspect from the mentee's perspective as well. And these two other sessions that we have, or two other potential mentees that we have, we will be going through with them over the course of this quarter. And hopefully there is some value that can be added, and look for successes in the future on that. So yeah, it slowed down a bit because of the second wave last year, but I think we're going to pick it up and speed it up more in this year.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajiv. Wonderful. My next agenda is 5 minutes learning, and Naresh Trikha, he's not here. May I request Sanjoy in place that you share your learning from this mentoring session? Probably that could be a very good, learnings for all of us.
One of the simple things I learned is you have to kind of put yourself out there, right? If you're not involved with people, if you're not really regular interacting, it's not going to come and fall in your lap. Right? So actually interacting with people, and that's something we've started doing much more actively. And that is a simple but very true lesson.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I think these small one-liners, they normally stick to you. And thank you for sharing. Let me move on to the next. May I request Abhineet to introduce our dynamic Mr. Vikas Rajput for our internal session.
Thank you, Naresh. It's my honor to introduce AoEan Vikas Rajput today. AoEan Vikas Rajput is a healthcare software specialist, an IT entrepreneur, and an avid networker with over 20 years of experience in conceptualizing, designing, architecture, and development of complex business software solutions. A very important area of his interest is to create digital solutions for public health organizations, non-profit organizations, NGOs, state and central governments. These organizations are involved in delivering healthcare to billion-plus population in India and other countries of the world through their various programs. He and his team specialize in capturing and measuring the real-time impact of their projects through the use of web and mobile technology. Vikas has been part of conceptualizing and managing multiple solutions for multiple public health organizations such as WHO, Plan India, ABD Associates, IP Global, Jagran Group, Clinton Health Access Initiative, Evidence Action, and various others. Some of these projects were supported by Reckitt Benckiser, Medtronic Foundation, USAID, BMGF, and Micronutrient Initiatives. One of his software products, mrreporting.com, is a SaaS-based Salesforce automation software, which is used by over 15,000 plus medical representatives and managers spread across 200 plus pharmaceutical companies in and outside India to analyze their data in real time. His company eTech has received multiple awards and recognitions for different projects and software products such as e-healthcare, Mukhyamantri Nirog Yojana, Best Digital Health Approaches Award, Best Practices Summit 2018, selected in New Pathways book on Best Innovations in India, selected in WHO's 4th Global Digital Health Partnership Summit 2019. TB Mukt Himachal app has been selected in Best Practices 2019 event of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare at Gandhinagar, Gujarat. It also won the Special Mention Award at M. Bulanath 2021 Digital Awards. He also won the M. Bulanath Finalist Award 2014 for Web Application Development for Clinton Health Access Initiative, India. Reduction of diarrhea deaths in children under the age of 5. Meeting interesting people and building strong relationships interests him the most. His belief in the power of relationships has resulted in becoming part of several prestigious business networking platforms, including AOE, Indian Drug Manufacturers Association, Farmers Only, and BNI. Over to Vikas.
Thank you so much, Abhineet. So, as Abhineet read out in the profile, the company name is eTech Services Private Limited. It's a primarily healthcare software specialist that we call us. Our company is focused on healthcare and development sectors. By development sector, we means NGOs and philanthropic organizations who are working in the development and aid sectors. Some more information about our organization. We are a very people-centric and relationship-oriented company. We have clients with us who first bought our software in 2005, and they are still with us. Serving various organizations for the last 22 years now. We are also an ISO certified organization. Some of our products have made to various awards and mentions, have been recognized at the national and international level. Key product is eHealth Card, which is running successfully for the last 3 years with the Himachal Pradesh government, as well as TB Mukt Himachal app. Along with that, our MR reporting software, which is a CRM for pharmaceutical companies. Some of these images are from those events where we got this recognition for our products. We have been working out of Gurgaon. Registered office is in Delhi. For 5 years, we worked from Delhi, Paschim Vihar, but now for last almost 17 years, we are working from Gurgaon. We have clients across India in multiple states, then US, Canada, Africa, and UAE. Also, we have our clients. Yeah, we have around 15 full-time employees, and we have various consultants on board who work for us from project to project basis. The product division is basically focused on pharmaceutical organizations where we have developers, and they are used for working on software MR reporting, which is a Salesforce automation tool, which helps medical reps to report their daily activities to their management through the use of our mobile app. The other division is the services division, where the customer application development work is being handled, and that is primarily being there for NGO sector and the government sector. Some of my learnings which I would like to share with the group, which in this course of last 17 to 18 years I have come across. The first and foremost is, akal badam khane se nahi aati, thokar khane se aati hai. This I have learned the hard way by going and venturing out into the business and taking some decisions which were not very good and then learning from them. Dealing with pharmaceutical companies in and outside India, a typical pharma company which exists in India or outside, they spend at least 19x more on marketing as compared to research and development. So similarly, every product which caters to or gives them benefit in their marketing or sales is likely to be sold more as in compared to R&D or manufacturing. So the large companies in pharma have a trend of a very long cycle of buying because of their corporate hierarchy and their reluctance on taking up large decisions. Anything that can help in influencing doctors will sell fast. So if you have a product or a tool which can help them get more and more doctors on their side to prescribe their products, they will that product is likely to be sold as quickly as possible, rather than other products which would go on for management or providing MIS or any other information. One thing which very few people know are that there are thousands of small mushroom companies that start and close every year in India. These are companies which start from 10 to 15 medical reps or 20 medical reps. They come up every year. Some senior manager resigns from a large company, forms his own company, gets the product from Buddy on his name, and then starts marketing them. Finally, the purchasing behavior in last 17 years, which I have experienced for mid and large companies, is that they are influenced by brand names and PR. Pharma has been very slow in adopting technology in their management and marketing and sales. But now they are getting more and more close to new technologies and new adventures. But still, they are inclined towards bigger brands, big corporate names. So if some organization is backed by Tata or Reliance or any foreign organization, then they are very much interested in doing business with them rather than an Indian counterpart. Dealing with the government sector, this I have started doing since last 2017. In software specifically, what I have come across is there are two questions that matter the most whenever you approach a government organization. The first is source of funds, so where the funds will come from. Normally in government organizations, I've seen there is nothing allocated for software. Everything is allocated for IT hardware. So even if they have a need and they want to purchase something, they want to utilize something, they don't know how they are going to pay for it and from where they are going to get these funds. The products and services which we deal in, products, we have MR reporting software, MR Ask, MR Pharma ERP. So these are basically focused on pharmaceutical organizations. eHealth Card is a digital health ID generation software which we developed for Himachal. This and a larger version of this has been introduced by the central government now as ABDM, which is Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, wherein they are saying that they'll create a digital health ID for each and every individual. TB app is another initiative which is there available as a product, so any country or state can opt it for dissemination of information related to TB. Some services which we provide are customer applications for projects in healthcare and education, in international NGOs and government organizations. Moving on to the history of our organization, in 2000, the company was formed. It was formed by my cousin brother, who's an architect with several other partners. He wanted to have an IT firm. I joined the organization as trainee to learn something in 2003. 2005 was very fortunate to launch my first product, MR Reporting, which is going strong till date. It's still the #1 pharmaceutical Salesforce automation and the oldest in the country. In 2013, I was introduced by Naresh Tikka sir to Clinton Health Access Initiative, which is an arm of Clinton Foundation. That was my first public health or NGO sector project. 2021, I got the first education sector project when I got the order from DDU Gorakhpur University in Gorakhpur. That also has come through Mr. Naresh Tikka. So both these divisions of work have started because of him. Now we are concentrating on getting large national level projects in India and outside India also, so that the business can grow, and we are aiming to multiply our turnover by 3x in next 1 year. Some of the clientele which we have, government, international NGOs and foundations, pharmaceutical companies, universities. In the public health sector, we are working with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, central government, the National Health Mission, Himachal Pradesh government, WHO, USAID, Clinton Health Access Initiative, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Evidence Action, ABT. Rakhee Sharma is a corporate organization, but they do a lot of funding to several NGOs who then take over projects and get MIS developed by us. So we have been working with these organizations since 2013 now. In the education space, we have just started. As I mentioned, that 2021 was the first year. Our first order was from DDU Gorakhpur University. And I'm very happy to share that because of Mr. Naresh Tikka itself, we have got another order now from the IP University in Delhi. We have given one software for them as a product. We have delivered it to them. So that's the first success after the Gorakhpur University project. In pharma, we are dealing with a lot of international and national organizations. We are also looking for a lot of referrals in pharmaceuticals. These are some of the organizations which have been there with us for a very long time. To talk about the connections I have. Government of Himachal Pradesh in the health department, I can definitely help. Can also help with small and medium pharmaceutical organizations. And some international NGOs who have been our client for long. WHO, Clinton Foundation, Evidence Action, ABT Associates, and Jagran Group. So these are some of the organizations where I can help fellow members and their associates to get connected if they require any connection. What I require help from AOE is we are now thinking of starting a division wherein we can do some outsourcing for the US-based organizations, but specifically in open source software development, which is more towards Java and Angular, which is open source. We do not work on Microsoft technologies and have no intention to do so. National and state universities who are trying to get themselves accredited in the NAC accreditation process. So any university, if you know someone in the top level, maybe the vice chancellor, anybody very close to him. In health, we are looking for specific referrals in Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Both are large states with a lot of technology requirements. UP is a very difficult place to connect because there are multiple people over there who are there employed by the BMGF, the Gates Foundation. So they have a technical support unit. So it makes for other people's job harder to get into UP Health Department. So that connect is something we're looking forward to. And another connects at high levels in UNICEF and UNDP, if someone has that. Pharma organizations are always welcome, any size, any place in India or outside. We have a few clients in Kenya, we have few clients in Tanzania also and UAE also. So in African region or Indian region, any pharma company is welcome. Finally, I would like to thank some people specifically. First of all, thank you to all the AoEan members who are there in the meeting.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much so far. And may I request General Secretary for his report?
I congratulate everyone on the 100th meeting today after the society was registered. So it's a great milestone we have achieved. So today is the 100th meeting after we registered, and now it is the 112th meeting in its present form. So that's a very great achievement. We have completed a century, which V. Sagarji also completed 1 lakh visitors. So I must congratulate him also. I want to convey to Mr. Shishir an early recovery of his father. Whenever the opportunity arises, I will send a message on behalf of AOE for an early recovery of his father. I must thank everybody that this meeting was very well attended. So the year has started, 2022 has started with more people attending, which I request that we should all continue to attend the meetings, because it gives the managing committee a confidence to bring in better speakers. And so if the attendance is good, we will have better speakers. Not that we did not have we have had very good speakers, but it encourages us, gives us more confidence to bring better speakers. I also thank Varun and Mr. Arjun Pandey for being here today, and we expect them to be continuously available to us during the year. Thank you very much for being here. I'll now give Mr. Naresh to continue his.
Thank you, Waleed. You stole a couple of lines, and then I had to, my closing remarks would be shorter now. 100 and 112. Anyways, may I request Treasurer to give his report, please?
Yes, good evening once again. The AOE membership costs rupees 12,000 per annum. The invoices for current financial year has been generated and emailed to everyone. I request all members who receive information on their membership dues to please clear them at the earliest. AOE membership payments can now be made through debit credit cards and wallets also. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas. Say thank you to all of you as closing of this session.